Alright, let's jump right on in. We're going to watch FishSpider and Arzheu in the first round of our losers bracket. So this is actually full elimination rounds. And we're going to start with FishSpider. I look extreme. Okay. I don't remember. I forgot that I don't get the of them hitting when we jump in for spectator mode. And let them know that they can go when ready. We have films. Oh, actually, I'm gonna need them to stop because we have a minor glitch. All right, so yeah, we've got FishSpider that actually already has access to Chalice right away, thanks to the Pearl Abbey, which is great. And Royal Decree also in the market. We've got a lot of cool market cards. Royal Decree, Crown, which is fantastic. Shimmerpack, obviously being a big game ender kind of a card.
I'll hold them back.
Arzheu starting off with Olivia. I feel like we're probably still going to see the Pearl Abbey here. Yeah, and there we go. Because FishSpider's just not going to block and is just going to want to try and get Chalice down as early as possible and be able to use that as fast as possible. Something that might be good for Arzheu, or for FishSpider here actually is, yeah, they might actually trade and just try and hold up Lightning Storm because they know that their deck is going to be a lot slower. Next turn they can slam the Chalice, and then the turn after that they can just go Combrei and Lightning Storm. Ooh. So we've got some Premonition Bolts lurking around in Arzheu's deck, and it really just depends on when those happen now. I expect Chalice to come down. FishSpider's not taking a lot of damage, it's just 2. One of the bigger problems for the Chalice list, though, is the fact that it's pretty weak to flyers. It just doesn't have a lot of answers to them. That power card is great for Fish, because now they can play Combrei Healer and use it immediately. They also have the option to just Lightning Storm, but I imagine that Chalice is used here instead. It could be. They're greeting it right now to decide whether or not to kill it, it looks like. Thinking about Arzheu paying 5, maybe getting another one. Oh, they don't do anything? That's very interesting. So they're just holding off to try and block? I don't know. Myself, I'd have probably taken the damage.
Strike!
Ouch. Yeah, and FishSpider ends up taking the damage anyways because Arzheu opts to play a Lethrai Hideaway and make it large enough. But, upside, of course, now that all gets wiped out. And because of the top deck, I didn't even think about the other Lightning Storm. Because of the top deck of the second Lightning Storm, you can actually get rid of the Lethrai as well. I imagine that now, though, we're going to see Chalice actually happen there, and we're going to have the Combrei Healer come down. FishSpider is going to want to try and get this Chalice going fast, because Chalice is a really important card to have happen as much as possible and grind out that value and just kind of bury your opponent slowly. We'll see what happens here. Could end up playing the Shadowlands Borderscout. Yeah, actually, that's the decision here. Shadowlands Borderscout comes down instead. FishSpider hoping to capitalize and just be able to attack in. I've got to imagine that Arzheu might have like an Annihilate. Well, they didn't slam it. Let's see. A lot of Empower on the side of Arzheu here. Problem is not a lot of units yet. This is still shifted, so it's not going to be able to do anything for a couple turns. And there's some life gain on FishSpider's side, so this could end up taking a lot more from Arzheu than this. I can guarantee you FishSpider just wants to draw power. And there we go. Okay. So, Vanquish instead. I was thinking Lumen Defender and honestly using the Chalice here. I guess that I use Chalice a lot more than FishSpider does, which is reasonable for sure. FishSpider already has a really good source of card advantage anyways in the Shadowlands Borderscout, so maybe they're just thinking about that. They could go Borderlands Waykeeper and use Chalice. Okay, there we go. See, like, I like to use Chalice as much as possible. That, I think, is a really good play, because that gets rid of both of the big problem units and sets up for Chalice moves. I imagine this attacks. No, FishSpider is just going to hold back with the remaining Combrei Healer here, which isn't a bad idea. Like, FishSpider's deck is not so much about dealing damage. It'll get there eventually, but it'll really just lock out Arzheu first, right? So the extra 2 points of damage isn't going to be something that generally matters all that much. And FishSpider had already attacked. That's correct, yeah. Oh, and killing Sabu. Nice. Yeah, I forgot about the draw from that.
Fresh kills make the best.
I'm so used to not attacking with Chalice, where all of your units are just depleted because they've used Chalice. This is an interesting one. So what do you get here? Could be Royal Decree. Yeah, and it is going to be Royal Decree. I could definitely have seen Shimmerpack being a thing. And it looks like, I wonder, does that mean that FishSpider missed? I'm not actually sure that there was anything there. We'll find out in a second when Arzheu plays a Seek Power. First, though, another Remembrance. I don't think there's anything that important here. Like, yeah, this is going to be another Rista. Which is good, but it's not insane. Oof. Wow, another Sabu is pretty gross, though. And that's going to be 5 damage coming in for sure. Or rather, 7, thanks to our left-right hideaway. This is why I liked playing the Lumen Defenders earlier. You need to get those down, FishSpider. Killing things is important, but gaining back the life is also really important. It's possible that Arzheu just gets out of this with enough unblockable units. Come on, I need to see a Lumen Defender. I would... If I'm FishSpider here, I think that there's a... Alright, fair enough. I was going to say there's a really big portion of me that wants to go Lumen Defender and Combrei Healer and get both down, just to protect my life total a little bit more. Because if there's more removal spells, Sabu is terrifying. And Zendi playing a free elf out of the void. The elves list is just kind of going off here in many ways that I didn't really expect. Awkward that they didn't attack first, because of course now they don't get the onslaught from Lethrai Soothsayer. I'm not sure if that was intended or a bit of a mistake. Well, I guess we'll find out when Sabu holds back. Yeah, okay. I might have... I don't know if the correct play would be to attack with Sabu. You can't let FishSpider have this much time, is part of the problem. Because FishSpider will be able to use that.
Time heals all.
Chalice grinds out a lot of extra card value. This is interesting. So we've got Permafrost on here. And then you can attack the 3/4. Or you could just Permafrost defensively. Because Tavia is a real problem. And FishSpider just opts to pass, so not going to Permafrost anything yet. Oof. Ice Bolt on the Borderlands. And now we're going to see, the Shadowlands Borderscout. This is the Borderlands. And a lot of damage coming in here. I didn't think that this game would end this way, but it looks like FishSpider is gonna die here. I don't know how they're gonna be able to finish this. It's a lot of flyers they have to deal with. It might be now Lumen Defender, and Permafrost a flyer. You could also try and fly the Borderlands Waykeeper, which I would like to see. That's big enough to actually start blocking. So I could see going... You can Combrei Healer plus Borderlands. But then you're not using any of the defenders.
Time heals all.
Okay. I was thinking you could Combrei Healer and use the Chalice at the end of it. I 110% understand not doing that, though. Man. The number of triggers off of Empower here is incredible.
The cosmos. I'm old enough to drive a Twitch
and that's just the game. Nothing that can happen here. This Rista is just a big enough unblockable monster that it cannot be stopped. Thank you very much for that resub, Boix. Old enough to drive a Twitch car. 16 months. Thank you so much, Boix. Alright, so this time we get to watch Arzheu's Felves list, as they call it. They're nice Feln elves. Sad kitty. Yeah, he's okay. He's just a whiner. Oh, I gotta back out again real quickly here. We keep having the minor issues. As it shows me spectating it. Or no, is Surf Wizard spectating? Maybe that's what it is. There we go. Perfect. Ooh, and an early Siraf Grand Strategist, which is a very big butt blocker and becomes a great late game threat for FishSpider. Something they kind of lacked last game. Like, they weren't able to make units anywhere near as big as Arzheu was, and so Arzheu just kind of ran them over. But Siraf and Chalice can just go off. Especially when you add things like the Combrei healer to it, and you can just keep upping that twist over and over and over and over to get larger and larger units. We see Great Valley Smuggler come out here, so we know that FishSpider almost certainly has the Chalice now. Although they're thinking really hard. Maybe they just have a tough decision of what to change for the Chalice. And Arzheu's getting in. Yeah, FishSpider just does not want to trade the possibility of losing Siraf with Arzheu. It's way too dangerous. And I agree with that. Like, Siraf is really key to what FishSpider can be doing here. Oh, wow. FishSpider opts for the crown of possibilities, going for the fan favorite instead. That's amazing. And down comes Sabu. Man, turn 5 Sabu again for Arzheu. Arzheu's been able to get these Sabos fast and early. Or Tosbu.
Close your eyes.
And we have a Berserk Combrei healer as our first hit. But, I mean, this just means Arzheu's just slamming in. Little bit of a problem on Arzheu's side where they just don't have a lot of power going on right now. Like, Arzheu's got cards in hand, but they don't really do anything. And their board looks scary. They're just kind of stuck right now, though.
I only play to win.
Alright, and here comes that Siraf. Wow, starting off with an Angry Prophet. Probably one of the best 2-drops that they can get here, just because the power that it has right now is so high thanks to the number of units on the board here for Fish. Just going to be able to trade with this Tasbu no matter what. Basically, Arzheu needs a removal spell for that. And doesn't have one. And Rista can't block here, so this is almost certainly the end of the aggression for Arzheu. Arzheu just opts to play the power card, which I find a little bit strange, since this does have that Empower ability. Kind of surprised by that.
I only play to win.
Oh no, and a flyer now too, with Aegis. Yeah, we're seeing the power of Siraf here, as it just hits 2 very good units in a row. And Tosbu is stuck back on defense. An Angry Prophet is going to actually trade with it, which I think is the right thing for Arzheu. I mean, especially when you think of Weezio. Oh!
It must be done.
Oh yeah, okay. We were just looking at the Tosbu trigger. I was like, they not spend it? But yeah, that was in fact it. And I imagine that we actually see Tavia discard one of these remembrances here, or maybe the power card. Yeah, this is perfect. I'm still so surprised that they went for Crown of Possibilities. I feel like that was almost just a crowd-pleasing move. And now we have Aijin, Imperial Armorer with double damage. Not super useful with double damage itself, but it will be able to keep equipping things off of this Siraf. And we've got an attack here. This is this pure bluff by Arzheu? That's interesting. Oh, into Premonition Bolt. I imagine that Aijin has to die here. You could take the very risky line of trying to hit a second one and get the Siraf, but that doesn't seem super likely. Yeah, and now discarding the Vishni so that they can Remembrance Vishni back into play and get more elves, just trying to go for the wide board position here. It might work. Like, FishSpider is sitting here on Siraf, and that's doing good work, but they need to find enough blockers here as well, or they're going to be finding themselves defensive very quickly. Yeah, 4/6 Lumen Shepherd is a good way to block up a unit on the ground, but it's not one unit that Arzheu's trying to get through here. It's a dozen. Yeah, and we're actually seeing FishSpider now on the defensive. Worried about Arzheu hitting a power card, because if Arzheu hits power, this is a lot of damage. Each of these become 3, this becomes 5. Like, the whole team swings, and it's a lot. Leaving back 2 of the Dark Elves, or... I feel like if this is an attack, it's gotta be with basically everything. Because they're gonna lose 2 units to Siraf and to the Lumen Shepherd here. Actually, 3 units, because Aerial Ace as well, since it didn't attack. So only attacking with 4 things is not doing a lot. I'm not at all a fan of that. Yeah, I don't like this attack at all. I guess just to draw a lot of cards, maybe? I'm interested as to what Arzheu's plan is with this. It could be good, but it seems so risky for very little payoff. It does draw a bunch of cards, but it costs a lot of life to do it, too. A lot of life, and all of the wide board position gets sacrificed here now, too. I imagine that FishSpider is going to be able to attack back in again. We could see Tavia discard to get more elves, and maybe Olivia. Right, instead, we're going to see Zendi, which is also pretty fair. I was thinking that if I might have gone for Livia and used Tavia to discard and get another like bunch of wide board elves, so you can try and bust through.
What would you like?
Ooh, FishSpider hit a good one here. Got Echo on one of the merchants. So on Pearl Abbey. Ah, and we also get an infinite Hourglass out of the market so that Fish can be offensive and defensive with all of these Siraf units. I think that this is going to be a big problem, though, for Fish. Fish is not looking so hot here. Might be that they've got Vanquish, maybe a Permafrost. They're looking at the Zendi. Imagine just trying to decide whether or not Aerial Ace needs to get in or how to get it in. Yeah, so Vanquish is going to come on the Zendi. I'm guessing the debate was whether or not to kill Tasbu and stop Arzheu from drawing cards. I think this is correct, though, because right now you almost want Arzheu to keep Tasbu in play. Being at 10 life, Tasbu's like take 1 damage every time you draw the card is a pretty real downside. It's going to make it hard for Arzheu to go around the board here. FishSpider eyeing up some cards in their hand. We know one of them is Pearl Abbey. No idea about the other 2 yet. And wow, just an instant snap all attack in from Arzheu here. Probably correct. Arzheu's in a lot of trouble, under a ton of pressure. Losing life from Tasbu, getting hit in the air for 4. There's not a whole lot that Arzheu can do besides just swing all out. Yeah, there's an interesting thing here in that if both players had realized it, Livia is the... Well, not both players. If Arzheu had realized it, Livia just wins. Unison Endurance can't block. All of them have Endurance thanks to the Infinite Hourglass. But Arzheu missed it. And so in their mind, the way that they're looking at this is they can't survive a swing back because they can't block or they lose life to Tasbu. So their only real option here is to just attack all in. But funny enough, like we were saying, Livia was just straight up the win here. Almost the minute that Infinite Hourglass came down. It's something that doesn't come up a lot with Livia, so it's really easy to forget. That being said, is this death? Did they lose enough? Yes. So actually just enough to kill them. And unfortunate because there was the win on the board. But Arzheu loses and FishSpider goes to even in the match. So we've now got a 1-1 tie game. Tough misplay. Did cost the game. It's an easy one to make with Livia, though. Often Livia's relevant abilities are its own lifesteal and being able to give -1/-1 counters to multiple units. But, yeah, occasionally it just really gets somebody who has a lot of endurance. And maybe we'll see Arzheu remember it this time. We're going into the game 3. One of these players is now going home from the tournament. This is the last chance. Somebody will go on, and somebody else will end up as our first elimination from the tournament. And we've got the Pearl Abbey again. Let's see how spicy FishSpider gets this. We saw the crown last time. I've got to think that it's Chalice, but FishSpider operates on their own rules. They ain't afraid of nothing. All right, we have a trade of Permafrost for Crystalline Chalice,
We'll blaze a path.
which I'm not sure that I like. Permafrost is a really good answer. That being said, all these Karmic Guardians seem terrifying. I really do like Karmic Guardian here as just a great way to stabilize against a deck like Arzheu that's trying to go fast. Gonna be a problem against exactly Livia, though. And there we go. Ooh. Immediately nuking the Pearl Abbey and making it so that the Karmic Guardians don't matter. Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like FishSpider needs to play a main phase Desert Marshal here, which is uncommon, but necessary. And FishSpider knows what Livia does. FishSpider remembers the fact that Livia's going to stop the blockers. And so immediately nerfs the Livia here so that the Karmic Guardians can actually block in a turn or two. Accepting a lot of damage in the meantime, though.
The right blade for the job.
Arzheu just continuing to go off here, though. Hitting Blight Pass Smuggler, being able to search into their market. Inside of Arzheu's market, if I can just grab their Feln list, they have Malediction, Reign of Frogs, Elvish Swindler, Vara Fate Touch, so the 8-cost Vara, and a Token of Knowledge. My guess is either a token or possibly the Reign of Frogs. Elvish Swindler can basically always get the Lethrai Hideaway to make another elf. Yeah, and there's the Reign of Frogs. And that is going to be pretty brutal here because they just stopped Livia. Like, FishSpider just managed to get it so that Livia wasn't hurting them. And now instantly loses all these Karmic guides, which was the main reason to do that in the first place. I'm thinking that there's a trade. Yep. And Remembrance back to Rista immediately. Arzheu's deck is just going off here. It's really hard for FishSpider to find any purchase. Yeah, now we actually see Chalice start to go, though, and it's got to figure out if that's going to be enough value. FishSpider has some options out of the sideboard now. They've got the Permafrost. They know that Infinite Hourglass can be a problem. Ooh, but they go for it anyway. imagining probably they know that Livia has already been played, so one of the Livias is gone, and they're just hoping that Arzheu doesn't find multiples. Because another Livia could be a real problem here. Oh, wow, and that top deck Tosbu. Not even just top deck, but warped. Anytime that a card gets warped, it's a feel bad for somebody. And I can't imagine the FishSpider's super happy about seeing an 8/8 drop on their side. Especially because they could have used that Pearl Abbey Smuggler to go in for a Permafrost instead and at least stop that beatdown. They're at 20 life though, so they've got some time. And of course, Karmic Guardian's going to buy even more. And Pearl, right, chat's reminding me, played Pearl Abbey Smuggler, so they can actually can't get the Permafrost anyways.
The right blade for the job.
Yeah, so probably the best option they could have gotten, because Crown of Possibilities and Shimmerpack were not going to help out there. Blight Pass Smuggler for Arzheu. Again, for a reminder, the cards that Arzheu has, I feel like they're a little limited here. They've already grabbed Rain of Frogs. So their options are Malediction, Swindler, Vara, and Token. Token just being a power card. My guess is, I'm thinking now it'd just be Elvish Swindler and try and get a go wide board going here. Didn't play it though. That suggests to me that maybe it's Vara. Vara is certainly a possibility because we do see Arzheu sitting on 8. It's pretty reasonable. Vanquish being a really good hit for FishSpider here. And now, yeah, now Siraf starts going. So Siraf gets a little bit larger.
I'm sorry. It must be done.
And Weezio becomes an 8/8. So hard to kill. So hard to kill units in Arzheu's deck when you've got Weezio just waiting there for things to happen. I really like the hideaway and shift mechanics out of Arzheu though. Arzheu's just able to get so much sudden burst, like unblockable damage. It's terrifying. It looks like Arzheu's dead, and then suddenly Arzheu just turns around and smashes you in the face. Which is really cool. Alright. Thrashing Dune Worm comes into play with the double damage on it. Not doing anything yet. There's no killer units on the side of FishSpider here. FishSpider kind of desperately needs to find power cards. Attacking with the 3/9. I don't like that. Well, no, actually it's fine, because there is not enough for Arzheu to block, but like, yeah. Oh, going for the Karmic Guardian, not the Siraf. Alright. Fair enough. I was assuming that that was exactly 9, so we were going to see that happen. It's a very tough position for FishSpider to be in. Nikrista even larger. And it looks like just Tasbu. I was thinking really hard about doing more with that, Rista. But it's going to be just Tasbu. Yeah, and this is the block that I expected. I was going to say, I imagine that FishSpider is going to throw away some units just to make sure it dies here. Because they have to get rid of Tasbu. Tasbu has been such an incredible... Wow! Oh, man. It's been such an incredible card for Arzheu. That is backbreaking. I can't imagine how FishSpider feels about that, because I'm upset for them. I'm kind of angry about that. That has been so many Tosbus on Arzheu's side. These top decks are incredible and just painful to see. Yeah, and we get Clan Huntcaller, but it can't actually... It gives Warcry to everything, but nothing else can really attack. And of course, Clan Huntcaller itself is going to hold back Tosbu, but it won't hold back Rista now. Yeah, because now Rista's an 8/3. Just gets to slam in. And Arzheu gets to draw cards when it dies. This is a tough position for FishSpider. It's pretty amazing that we've watched a Chalice get outvalued turn after turn in multiple games. So here's an interesting one. Do you keep using Siraf? And nope. Our FishSpider has said and very quickly decides that that's not the way to win here. And throws down a Shadow. Oh, and immediately gets suffocated. If I'm Arzheu at this point, I'm almost at the time when I just start attacking with everything. It's getting close. Vishni steals all of Arzheu's Void, which I don't think that Fish really cares about all that much. But Arzheu does happen to have Remembrances in their deck. So they might be able to get back something really strong. Oh my goodness. And here comes Zendi, getting back the 8-3 Rista, and Shadowlands Borderscout from FishSpider because it is in fact an elf. Oh, that play is so good. And making it a 5-4 flyer. This is so backbreaking for Fish. And I need to have a really good Siraf. That's pretty good. I don't know that it's enough. And I don't remember if FishSpider played a power card here. I think that they did already. Yep, there we go. I think that they have to trade Thunderstrike Dragon for the Shadowlands, if they even are allowed to. Like, that's if FishSpider even is allowed to do that against Arzheu here. Arzheu just slamming in with so much damage. So 7 from that, I think. If I'm Arzheu here, yeah, I guess that Siraf goes away. FishSpider desperately needed to have some harsh rules in this deck because they're just not able to fight Arzheu's incredible board positions. Yeah, and FishSpider now drawing a card just to see. It is Lightning Storm, which helps, but it's just not enough. Siraf can come down and make something, but there's no 1-drop that's going to be enough. Nothing with 1 attack value here. Alright, so we see Lightning Storm come down. And Siraf and Borderland. And then I'm imagining that might just be Scoop. They are in fact just dead to units in the air, as long as Arzheu remembers to use their left right hideaway. And there we go, yeah. And good games. Arzheu winning the match 3-0, and by that I mean 2-1. Minor mistake earlier that kind of cost the game in game 2, but doesn't matter. The deck was just too strong for FishSpider to handle. So many toss boos were coming down just left and right, and it was just unstoppable there.